education loans. Probably the most important part of your whole process, studying abroad, before you actually go to a university overseas. The thing that you probably pay the most attention to after your exams is the education loan, because you know that you will be dealing with it for the next few years of your life. So in this video, we're going to break down each of the most popular alternatives that we have for the education loans. Of course, we're also going to take care of the rates of interest. We're going to talk about them, and some, different alternatives have different perks, so we're going to talk about them. So let's quickly hop onto the computer and let's start it without further ado. Alright guys, so we're going to consider a lot of alternatives. Probably, let's see, SBI, PNB, then there's Credila, then there's Avance, and then there's Prodigy. So we're going to consider all 5 of these. These are probably the most important and the most, let's say, in demand alternatives out there. There are of course other ones out there, but those are not nearly as popular as these alternatives. So let's actually go on and see which bank you should personally go with when you go for your international experience. Alright, so let's look at SBI first. Alright, so SBI actually has 2 schemes. This is the first scheme, alright, and in this scheme, basically, if you're going for an international education, you will be given a maximum loan of 20 lakhs, or really anything under 20 lakhs. So in case you're looking for a loan amount of more than 20 lakhs, you will have to go for the other scheme, which is the SBI Global Ed-Vantage scheme, which is actually in collaboration with VMix Scholars. But anyway, for this scheme, again, these 2 schemes are different, and you might want to go with this scheme as well, so I will brief you on this thing. Alright, so by the way, margin is something that you have to personally pay. Alright, so if they say 15% for studies abroad, that means that 15%, at least 15% of your education abroad should be financed by you yourself, and the rest is actually, you can take up the loan for that. Right, so that's the margin. The loan amount we already covered, maximum of 20 lakhs. And really, for studies in India, this is probably off topic, and it's 10 lakhs as you can see. Alright, rates of interest, we're going to check out the rates of interest. And apart from that, the eligibility, most of you would be eligible, and the only thing is that really you should be an Indian national and you should have an admit from a university overseas. Alright, so let's look at the rates of interest. Well, in this case, the rates of interest, by the way, I want to just clear out some of these terms so that you don't really complicate yourself into thinking that I don't really know what this is. So MCLR is like the minimum amount of, minimum percentage of interest that the bank can apply. So really, as you might know, that RBI kind of governs all of this. So the MCLR system has been recently set up instead of the base rate system. So there's no base rate now, it's just called MCLR. It's a little different, but we don't need to get into the details of that. The thing is that you won't get an education loan from SBI for anything under 8.55% in this scheme, at least. Alright, and this is if you are going for up to 7.5 lakhs, by the way. Alright, and in case you're going for something more than 7.5 lakhs, in this case, again, the MCLR is the same, the spread is a little bit more, so it's like 10.8%. In case you're going for a loan which is less than 7.5 lakhs, that is, then the rate of interest would be 10.55%. So let's actually keep on noting these down so that we don't forget, right? So SBI, study abroad loan, right? And this is the basic scheme. So I'm going to write here, the basic scheme. All right, great. And the rates of interest in this case are, most of you guys, I'm pretty sure that you would be looking for a loan for more than 7.5 lakhs. I mean, 7.5 lakhs is probably nothing. So I'm going to mention the ROI over here as 8.5%. Alright, sorry, 10.8%. My bad, 10.8%. This is the rate of interest that you would be charged. So basically, you would have to pay 10.8% more. Alright, so that's for SBI. And let's actually look at the other scheme, which is a lot more popular. It's a recent scheme. It's called Global Ed-Vantage, and it's actually in association with VMix Scholars. The thing is that it's again a great scheme, but it is, usually for greater loans. So if you're looking for a loan where the amount is really more than 20 lakhs, this might be the one for you. Alright, so Global Advantage of SBI offers a loan of 20 lakhs to 1.5 crores Indian rupees to study abroad. Alright, so this is again for full-time regular courses at recognized foreign universities. So the list of universities and everything is given on their website. You can check it out. Mostly these are the services why this is so popular. You do not have to visit the bank a lot. Only 2 or 3 visits are required. Alright, and 14 days of processing time and 10,000 rupees is the processing fee, which is a fixed processing fee. Usually you can actually kind of, in case of Credila, you can actually kind of negotiate this thing as well, but in case of SBI this is fixed, and in case of Credila usually I don't think they'll go anything under 10k, but in this case it is 10k already anyway. Alright, apart from that you have all of these things, and the rates of interest in this case are different for males and females. Well, in case of females it's 9.8%, and in case of males it is 10.3%. It is actually probably the lowest rate of interest you will come across. So SBI Global Ed-Vantage. Alright, and under the scheme you will have these rates of interest. So again, SBI is a pretty popular alternative because of these services. Their service might not be as good as in the case of a private bank like that of HDFC. HDFC is probably the biggest bank in India, really biggest corporation, so it's really, you cannot expect the same level of service from SBI, but it is a great alternative, and a lot of people have been preferring SBI over any other alternatives. Alright, apart from that, a lot of things also depend on your university, on your GRE scores and all of these things, so you can actually go ahead and look for yourself. The rates of interest might not be conclusive like I'm telling you in this video, but mostly you will see that they will average out. Alright, anyway, let's look at PNB. This is again another very popular alternative recently, and PNB is a pretty good alternative because, see, mostly, by the way, you are looking at the PNB Ulaan program, because this is the one where you go for the international education, where you go for an international experience. So PNB Ulaan program, by the way, note that down in case you forget. Well, you can always come back to the video. Ulaan. Okay, so this is the one we're looking at right now, and in this case really they provide you with a list of universities, and there's probably about 200-300 universities that you can actually look at, probably a lot more, 200 universities I guess. So these are the universities worldwide that they support. You can look at these universities. They are probably the top 100 universities, I would say 200 universities in the world or something like that, but mostly the popular universities. You would find universities like USC and Stanford and all of these, great universities over here. Some of the mediocre universities as well, like you could say Rice University or Purdue University, Boston University. So all of these you will find over here, and Brown University. So it's like you have a great combination of universities over here, and most of you guys are applying to these universities itself. So I'm pretty sure that whichever university you get an admit from, you should be eligible for the scheme, but in case you're not, just skip a few minutes later so that you skip the PNB part. Anyway, alright, so in this case the eligibility is again that you should be an Indian national and you should have secured admission from a recognized institution abroad, through a merit-based test or whatever the scheme is. Alright, but we want to look at the first off the margin. Again, in this case the margin is 15% if you're going for a loan which is above 4 lakhs, which you of course will, and 15% again the same was in the case of SBI, and you can pay basically in the next 15 years really. So you have a maximum of 15 years to pay the loan, which is a great thing. Actually, by the way, I didn't show you on the website, probably didn't talk about this when I was talking about the SBI one. You can check out that SBI has the same repayment period. You can pay anywhere till up to 15 years. Alright, so let's move on anyway, and let's look at the rates of interest. These are the most important parts really. SBI has been putting up a good competition. It's really hard to beat, but let's look at that. Alright, so MCLR plus all of these things. Okay, education loan. Let's look at their MCLR price first. MCLR interest rate is 8.55%, as you can see over here. And what is that? As on date base rate. Okay, so we're not really looking for the base rate right now. Base rate scheme has been discontinued by the RBI. I don't know why they're writing it, but usually right now they're looking at the MCLR, and really, as far as I see, it's mentioned 8.55% for, so that's what we're going to consider for this video. Alright, and then we're looking at the Ulaan program, and they have loan, okay, and this is MCLR plus 1.85, so I think that should be 10.4, but anyway, 8.55 plus 1.85, and that's 10.4. So really you're getting a loan amount of 10.4%. But SBI is pretty good on this front. At least the Global Ed-Vantage program is giving you a 10.3% loan even if you are a male, and in case you are a female it's even better, it's 9.8%. so there's probably no beating SBI in this case. Alright, let's look at the other ones. Alright, I gotta show you some other ones which are over here. Yeah, this is the Credila. By the way, they do not really, the site is really kind of like, they won't really mention their rate of interest over here. I checked it out before I made this video. That's why the tabs are all open, but the rate of interest is not directly mentioned over here. But if you check it out, the rates of interest are anywhere from 11% to 14.5%, which is very, very variable, and the average is about 12.10% per annum. So this is what we're gonna write. But by the way, in case you're wondering how this works out, let me just explain it to you. One sec. HDFC Credila. First off, HDFC Credila is really annoying. They're really annoying. These people would call you 24/7. I mean, I probably get a call every day from these people, and I block each and every single one of their numbers, because if I want a loan, I will reach out to them myself. I do not want them to reach out to me right now, because this is not the time I'm looking for one. Alright, anyway, the way this works is, the way they decide the rate of interest is that they will evaluate your whole profile. They will evaluate the admit that you get from, like which university are you admitted into, what is your GRE score, what is your TOEFL score. These are like just a few of the things that they take into account, probably your GPA even. So they'll take all of that into account. Their service is really good. That's one thing that is you won't really have to worry about it a lot. But these people just suck the life out of you, I tell you, man. They are they're not cool, really. Anyway, if in case you get a loan around 11%, I think their minimum rate is 11%, and that too if you get into a really great university with really great scores. Probably in that case you will get that, and even then you will have to negotiate it to get it to that 11%, and probably it's a hard sell. But in case you actually get that close, you actually get close to that 11%, maybe it's a good idea. But again, 10.3% and 11%, I would probably choose the 10.3%. Alright, anyway, let's look at Avance. Even these people have not mentioned any sort of ROI. But by the way, guys, one thing I want to talk to you about is that HDFC Credila is really, really famous for giving out loans to people who do not have some collateral to show. Alright, and you do not have some collateral, most banks will not give you a loan for more than 7.5 lakhs. In case you have collateral, all of these other schemes are applicable. But when you do not have collateral, a lot of these banks will not work for you. Really, these schemes that I described earlier, most of them require collateral, or otherwise you can only take up a loan of 7.5 lakhs. Alright, but in case of Credila, that is an exception. You can get a loan which is kind of collateral free, but they still give you high loan amounts, and really, that's why probably their rate of interest is so high. Sometimes it's probably 1 or 2% high, but you will get a loan in case you do not have collateral through HDFC Credila. But then again, Avance in this case has also mentioned on their website, this is probably the first time I'm reading it, but unsecured loan up to 50 lakhs. And there's a star right over here, so you might want to read the terms and conditions in this case. But they do have this thing, probably competing with the HDFC Credila scheme. But the rates of interest, by the way, this is the main thing I want to show you right now. Courses abroad, let's look at that. Maximum loan amount is 50 lakh rupees. Probably a good amount. I don't think you should need more than that unless you're going for an MBA based course or something like of that sort. But again, in case of loans which are greater than 7.5 lakhs, well, it's 11.5% plus spread. So the spread is usually around 2%. They haven't mentioned it over here, so probably you can say that, you know, we don't really know about it, but 11.5% plus spread. I do not know what spread is over here. They haven't really mentioned it. I guess I actually checked it out, but they haven't mentioned it. Spread might even depend on external factors, like in the case of Credila, but you're gonna find this out for yourself, I guess, because they haven't mentioned it. Anyway, let's say that maybe, alright, what am I doing? Okay, then we have Avance, and they have 11.5% base rate plus spread. By the way, these people can follow the base rate thing. They don't have to go for the MCLR because they are a non-banking finance corporation, really, so they aren't really a bank, so they don't really have to, you know, take care of those RBI regulations. Anyway, let's look at the last one, and that is Prodigy. I would advise you that, you know, stay away from Prodigy. Personally, I believe that Prodigy is a great service. It's a great thing to go with, but it's not the thing in case you belong to a country where your currency is getting weaker and weaker as compared to the currency they are providing the loan in. And the currency they provide the loan in is USD. And as of now, for me at least, I'm in India, so the USD is getting much more stronger, and the rupee is really depreciating. So the thing is that these guys would give you a lot better rate of interest. Well, it could even be around, let's say, 9%, 8%, and sometimes the rates of interest are even mentioned as 5.5%. Let me actually show it to you. Prodigy Finance rates of interest. You'll see that the rate of interest is probably from I don't remember, but it's about 5.5% to 9%, or maybe even 10%. But the thing is that, you know, even if it's 7%, the thing is that it actually, like, the value of rupee will actually depreciate to that amount that you will end up paying probably 2 or 3% more in this case. So, and you don't know how much it will depreciate, and you don't know how much time you will take in paying the loan, and even when you're paying the loan, the value of the rupee will be depreciating. So it's really a hard sell. I don't think you should go for the what do you call it, Prodigy Finance. I think it's better off if you stay with the Indian banks, or in case you have someone in the US who can really, you know, vouch for you, who can really be your co-signer, you can ask them for a loan, and they would probably help you get the loan at a US bank, where the rates of interest would be again in dollars, but that would be much lower, about 5% or so, and that would be a win-win situation for you in case you have that, you know, someone over there who would be willing to be your co-signer. But anyway, that's my perspective on all of these, and you can see the rates of interest. Prodigy, I'm not even going to write. I do not want you to go with Prodigy. Personally, I do not have anything against them, but it's just the fact that, you know, the rupee is going to be depreciating, and a lot of students have mentioned that they ended up paying more than, you know, 2 or 3% extra than the rate that they were given the loan on. Alright, so personally, I think that I would like to go with the SBI Global Ed-Vantage one, because it seems to be the best to me for as of right now at least. But again, a lot of people might have issues. They might not have the collateral, they might have some other issues. So in that case, you know, Credila can be something that you might want to consider, or maybe even Avance, right? So just wanted to make this quick video about loans and really which bank you should go with personally. And there's a whole lot more to it. There's a whole lot more to the process of getting a loan, securing a loan even. It takes time, there's a lot of complications, and I will cover that up. But again, once I go through the process on my own, I want to cover it up after that, so that I can give you the best information and, you know, exact to the point information. Right now, this is it for this time. And again, guys, a lot of you have been asking me for investment advice, or advice on really how to start investing, or which shares to buy, which market to invest in, what to do. Well, in that case, you can actually go onto my Instagram and follow me over there, and whenever I have some updates for you, I will post them on my story, and you can actually take advantage of that. So you can make a lot of money with that if you use that intelligently. But anyway, one more thing. if you want to know my rejects, my admits, and when I get them, the exact dates, again, that would be posted on my Instagram as well, my story. And in case you guys would like more info on anything, you can again contact me on my Instagram. And great, thank you for watching this video. I love you guys for being over here, and anything else that I forgot to mention in this video, you can mention down in the comments down below, or you can contact me on Instagram, where I would love to help you out. So if this video helps you out, subscribe to this channel and give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time.